Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag and today we're going to continue on with grade 9 science, and the topic here is naming and writing the chemical formulas. So what we're going to look at is basically the ionic compounds first. Alright, so let's go to the board over here, and I'm just going to write down what ionic compounds are first. Okay, so if you're not sure, an ionic compound is when you're combining a metal with a non-metal. Okay, if you look in your periodic table, basically, again, make sure it's always open in front of you. All the metals are found on the left side of the periodic table. All the non-metals are found on the right side of the periodic table. Okay, so first we're going to start with the ionic compounds because they're actually a little more simple. Okay, so I have a metal plus a non-metal. With that, let's try an example. Okay, so I'm going to write down a chemical formula. First, we're going to go through how to name the ionic compounds. Okay, so let's try this one. Let's try something simple. So this is the formula here. It is NaCl. Okay, so first you're going to check Na in the periodic table. Okay, the first element in this compound is going to be the metal. So when you're looking in the periodic table, I'm always going to look on the left side of the periodic table. And if I find that, okay, I see that Na is equal to sodium. Alright, Cl is basically going to be the non-metal. So you're looking on the right side of the periodic table here. It is chlorine. Okay, so when you are actually naming the compounds, whatever the non-metal is, I'm going to make sure I'm adding IDE, okay, at the very end. So instead of chlorine here, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to put a D. So it becomes chloride. Okay, so when I'm naming this compound, which is ionic, it's going to be sodium chloride. Alright, are there any questions? Naming the ionic compounds is actually very simple. Okay, so let's try like one more example here. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. Okay. Alright, so let's try something different from a different group here. So I'm going to put Mg and F2. Okay, so don't worry so much about these numbers, okay? We're going to go through that in just about 2 minutes. Alright, so right now we're just focusing on naming the ionic compounds. So I'm going to look at Mg, this is the metal. I'm going to find it in the periodic table. And for the metal, I'm just going to write out the name. Okay, so Mg is magnesium. Okay, so you're just writing magnesium down here. Then I'm going to check the F in the periodic table. Okay, this is fluorine. So first I'm going to write fluorine. Okay, make sure you're watching the spelling for fluorine. Okay, some students are writing the O before the U. Okay, if you have a teacher that is very picky, marks will be taken off for that. Alright, so this is fluorine, and again, because it's the non-metal, I'm going to add IDE at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off. And I'm going to put a D there. Okay, so when I'm naming this compound now, it's not magnesium fluorine. Okay, it is magnesium fluoride. Okay, with an IDE. Okay, are there any questions there? Alright, so I think that looks good. So what we're going to move on to now is basically just writing the formulas, okay, for these simple ionic compounds. Okay, so this time, so I'm going to try and pick like different elements, okay, so we all get familiar with the elements that we're using in the periodic table. So again, at the grade 9 level, we should know the first 20 elements, which is up to calcium, okay. I should know the symbol, okay, so I should know if the teacher says sodium, I'm not writing S. Okay, sodium is Na. Okay, so let's try an example here. So I'm going to write down, okay, so this is a good example. I'm going to write barium. Let's do fluoride. So this time the teacher is going to give you the name of the compound. I have to be able to write the formula. Okay, so what you're going to do, so everyone should be looking very closely. I'm going to find barium in the periodic table, okay? Barium is Ba, okay? If you look in the periodic table, I should be using 1, okay? If you have the textbook, use the 1 at the back of the textbook. It does indicate the charge, okay, on each of these elements. So barium has a charge of 2 plus. So just like that, okay? And then I'm gonna write fluoride is fluorine. So I'm gonna put an F here. Again, I'm checking the periodic table and it shows you the charge here, which is 1 minus. All right, so just like that. So what I like to do is actually write the charges right at the top, okay, for each of the elements. And what we're going to use here is called the crossover method. Okay, so I'm going to put that down here. So crossover method. And what that means is I'm going to take these charges, I'm going to cross it to the opposite side, okay? So I'm going to just draw some arrows over here. Okay, and I'm drawing the arrows so you can see where the numbers are going, okay? So over here, we're just going to write it on the side, all right? So I'm going to write the BA, okay? So this 1 minus charge that's coming from fluorine, it's going to go right here in between. Okay, does everyone see that? Okay, then you're going to write the fluorine, all right? And the charge, the 2 plus charge coming from barium is going to the opposite side of where the fluorine is, okay? So I can't just write the charges below each of the elements. I have to make sure I'm crossing it to the opposite side, okay? So just like in math here, I don't actually have to write the number 1 for barium, okay? So I'll make another arrow. I could just write BA and then F2, so just like that. Does everyone see that? Okay, so it's kind of like math a little bit, okay? Don't write the 1. You can write it like this, how I wrote it on the board. Okay, so just so I don't get confused in terms of like where those numbers are moving. Okay, when I'm writing my formula, okay, you notice I'm not writing any of the charges. Okay, so the charges don't really matter, okay? We are just taking the numbers and we're crossing the numbers to the opposite side, okay? So this is barium fluoride and the formula is BaF2, okay? If you look in the periodic table, there are many common elements, something like aluminum. Okay, if you find it in the periodic table here, aluminum is actually close to the right side of the periodic table, okay? But you notice that it is actually still a metal, okay? And it has a charge of 3 plus, so I would have to cross the 3 plus to the opposite side, okay? And that basically brings this video to an end, okay? This video was just covering how to write the chemical formulas and also how to name different formulas when the teacher is giving you the actual chemical formula itself. All right, and again, if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me at jaggy5patel@gmail.com. I also give private lessons online as of now, and you can contact me if your son or daughter needs any help for grade 9 science, grade 9 math, and any of the other math and science courses at the high school level. I hope everyone learned something today, and if you did, again, please click on the like button below and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone next time. Bye!